In case you haven't heard, there's a buying trend out there called group buying. And it's not what you think it is. It is not investors grouping their resources to buy investment properties. But it is something that real estate professionals need to know. We're going to discuss that and more in this video. Hey everyone, my name is Vojchehoske and welcome to the Real Estate Classroom YouTube channel. It is just a place where real estate professionals can get tools and tips to run a more profitable business. And hey, real quick before we get started, give this video a thumbs up, click on that little red subscribe button and that little notification bell, and please share this with your friends and colleagues. Okay, group buying. Group buying is a new trend here in Middle America, but it's been around a while on the East and the West Coast, mainly because of the high cost of real estate. And the fact that millennials, they have a different approach or a different idea of the American dream. We're seeing 2, 3, 4, 5 people, groups of people commingling all their assets, their income, their credit worthiness and all that to purchase a single home where they're actually going to all live in it. We are seeing entire families do this. Parents buying a home with their child who recently got married and their kids, and they're all going to live there. That is what we call group buying, and it is a trend that's happening in Middle America. If you're a real estate agent, you need to know how to deal with those types of transactions. So the question is, as a real estate professional, how do you structure these deals? And the answer is, as far as structuring the deal, it's no different than any other purchase contract. You schedule your inspections, you have your appraisals, you have your termite inspection, you have a closing. None of that changes. But there is one element that I do think a real estate professional needs to discuss with those group buyers. So here's my observation regarding these scenarios, and I think brokers and agents need to know this. You see, anytime they're faced with a group buying situation, basically the brokers and the agents just say, listen, the only thing I need to know is how they want to take title. Do they want to take title under, rights of survivorship, tenants in common? And that's it. If they got the money to close, or they got the resources, or they got the financing, who cares? But in group buying situations, I think it goes deeper than that. And here's what agents really need to think about here. So here's my advice to you. Advise the group that you're working with, and advise them in writing, preferably an email, that they all speak with an attorney to draft what's called a property ownership agreement. Now, the property ownership agreement addresses the multitude of future problems that these type of arrangements can create. And trust me on this, I've been there. A dispute among those buyers, those group of buyers, will happen at some point, and the agreement goes a long way to addressing those. The agreement should address the following things as a minimum. Number one, how should they take title? Should it be rights of survivorship? Should it be an LLC or tenants in common? What happens to the real estate if one or more of the owners die? What happens if one of the owners wants to sell 5 years after closing and the others do not? What happens if one of the owners has to file for divorce or they have to file bankruptcy? How will that play out? Who's responsible for maintenance? That's actually a big one here. What happens if the maintenance cost is so high that one of the owners can't afford the money for the maintenance? What happens then? What happens if one or more of the owners want to move because they got a job in a different location in the United States? Who's responsible for paying property tax and insurance? Parking restrictions. Many parts of the country, properties have restrictions on parking. Who gets to park where and when? Pets. Some of them want pets, some of them don't. And what happens if one is entitled under fair housing? Criminal activities by one or more of the owners or the owner's guests. What happens in those scenarios? Maybe one of the owners was single at the time that they purchased with this group. They purchased the property, but now they're getting married. Is that new spouse going to be welcomed in? What happens in that scenario? Out of control kids. The list can go on and on and on, but those are some of the highlights here. As you can see, I just wanted to identify some of the problems that exist with these group buying situations, and a good real estate professional is going to have this discussion with those group buyers. A property ownership agreement can go a long way to outlining those issues way before they become issues. And for those of you that know me, I always say an issue only becomes an issue when it's an issue. And by the way, I do think it's a great customer service thing as well that we provide this discussion with our group buyers. One other thing that I think should be addressed. How do they resolve disputes? Will they go to arbitration? Will they go to mediation? And when does it go to those levels? Or is there some other decision-making mechanism that they can use? See, a good real estate attorney can help your folks navigate those issues ahead of time, way before they sign their name on the dotted line. Now, having said all of this, I know what many of you are going to ask, or maybe you're thinking this. Why should I, as the agent, even get involved? Why should I care? As long as my folks have the resources to purchase the property, the financing, why do I care? And the answer is eventually it will come back to you when all the parties are ticked off and they are looking for someone to blame, and the real estate professional is the easy target. One other thing with this, why it's great to be proactive is those situations will arise, and trust me, they're going to thank you for thinking ahead and having them discuss these issues with their attorney and drafting these agreements. So the best defense is always a great offense. Having proof, document everything, having proof such as an email showing that you recommended to everyone in that group that they should consult with an attorney before signing on the dotted line. It goes to a long way to saving your bacon as well when an issue becomes an issue. Remember, your job is to recommend an attorney. Whether they take your advice to consult with one is totally their decision. It's your job to recommend one. It's their job to get one. All right, and don't forget to document those communications. Send all parties an email and print it out and throw it in the file. Also remember, with these unique situations, this or any other unique situation, when your part of the transaction exceeds your expertise, you must advise your clients to consult with outside independent experts. And I do believe this is one of those situations. A little proactivity now can save you a ton of heartache later on. And also, like I said, this is a good customer service thing. All right, that's all I have on this issue. I appreciate you guys staying with us. If you've ever represented group buyers, just simply type yes down in the comments. I would appreciate that. Thank you for watching this video, supporting this channel. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you got any other questions, please post them down there. We do monitor this channel and we will respond to any questions. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, click that little notification bell, leave comments, share this with people. It does help with growing this channel. And as always, until my next video, get out there and sell something.